What makes a general truly great? Is it fearless ambition, clever strategy, or the power to change the world forever? Today, we're diving into the lives of three legends: Alexander the Great, Hannibal of Carthage, and Napoleon Bonaparte. Each led massive armies, won impossible battles, and reshaped history. Let's uncover what made them the greatest military minds ever known. Number 1. Alexander the Great, the Conqueror King. Alexander the Great was born in 356 BCE in the ancient city of Pella, located in what is now northern Greece. His father, King Philip II of Macedon, had already made a name for himself by uniting the Greek city-states, but Alexander's destiny was to go far beyond Greece. Tutored by the famous philosopher Aristotle, he was given a deep education in philosophy, science, and leadership. This helped shape Alexander not just into a warrior, but into a visionary. At only 20 years old, Alexander became king after his father was assassinated. Many thought he was too young, but Alexander quickly proved them wrong. He set out to finish his father's dream, conquering the powerful Persian Empire. His first major battle was the Battle of the Granicus in 334 BCE. Against the Persian satraps, or governors, Alexander led a bold attack across a river and won. It was the beginning of his legendary journey eastward. In 333 BCE, he met King Darius III of Persia at the Battle of Issus. Though the Persian army was much larger, Alexander's strategy won the day. Darius fled, and Alexander's confidence grew stronger. One of his most impressive feats came during the siege of Tyre. Tyre was a wealthy city protected by water. Most thought it couldn't be taken, but Alexander built a causeway across the sea and finally captured the city after a 7-month battle. It was a clear sign Alexander would not back down from any challenge. In 331 BCE, Alexander crushed the Persians again at the Battle of Gaugamela. This final blow ended the Persian Empire and made Alexander the ruler of a massive territory. But he didn't stop. He marched through present-day Iran and Afghanistan and crossed the Hindu Kush mountains into India. In 326 BCE, he fought King Porus at the Battle of the Hydaspes River. Even though Porus had powerful war elephants, Alexander's tactical brilliance led to victory. But after years of fighting, his troops were exhausted and begged to return home. Alexander agreed. Tragically, in 323 BCE, on his way back, Alexander died in the city of Babylon. He was only 32 years old. In just over a decade, Alexander created one of the largest empires in the world. From Greece to India, he left behind cities, culture, and ideas. His influence sparked a new era of Greek culture known as Hellenism. Even today, historians and military leaders study his campaigns. Alexander wasn't just a conqueror, he was a visionary who dreamed of a united world. Number 2. Hannibal, the master of strategy. Hannibal Barca was born in 247 BCE in Carthage, an ancient city in North Africa. Carthage had just fought a major war against Rome, the First Punic War. Hannibal's father, Hamilcar, made him promise to always be Rome's enemy. From a young age, Hannibal was trained in leadership, tactics, and warfare. That promise would shape his entire life. At 26, Hannibal took command of the Carthaginian army in Spain. In 218 BCE, he made a daring decision to invade Rome not by sea, but by land. That meant crossing the Pyrenees Mountains, the Rhone River, and then the massive Alps. With soldiers, horses, and even elephants, Hannibal began one of the most famous marches in history. The journey across the Alps was deadly. Snow, landslides, and attacks from mountain tribes made it a nightmare. Many soldiers and animals died, but Hannibal made it through and shocked the Roman Republic by appearing in northern Italy. What followed was a series of brilliant victories. At the Battle of Trebia, Hannibal lured the Romans into a trap and crushed them. At Lake Trasimene, he surprised another Roman army and won again. But his greatest victory came in 216 BCE at the Battle of Cannae. At Cannae, Hannibal faced over 80,000 Roman troops. He had far fewer soldiers, but his tactics were genius. He placed his weakest troops in the center and his strongest on the sides. When the Romans attacked the center, it slowly pulled back. Then, His side troops came in from both flanks, surrounding the Roman army. It was a total defeat. Over 50,000 Romans were killed in one day, a shocking and historic loss. Hannibal became famous for using war elephants to frighten and break enemy lines. He also used clever tricks, like sending torches tied to oxen to confuse the enemy at night. His strategies were always one step ahead. Despite his many victories, Hannibal could never fully defeat Rome. He didn't have enough support from Carthage to attack the city itself. Eventually, in 202 BCE, he was forced to return home to defend Carthage from a Roman general named Scipio Africanus. At the Battle of Zama, Hannibal was finally defeated. After the war, Hannibal tried to help rebuild Carthage through politics, but Rome still feared him and demanded his removal. He was forced into exile, moving from place to place until finally taking his own life in 183 BCE to avoid capture. Even though Hannibal lost in the end, his military mind amazed the world. His tactics are still taught in military schools today. He showed how courage, intelligence, and creativity could change the course of history. Number 3. Napoleon Bonaparte, the Emperor of Europe. Napoleon Bonaparte was born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, just after it became part of France. He wasn't born into wealth, but he had big dreams. Thanks to his talents, he was sent to military school in France, where he stood out as a brilliant student. When the French Revolution began, it gave him a chance to rise fast in the army. By his mid-20s, Napoleon was already leading armies. In 1796, he took command of the French forces in Italy and defeated Austria's forces in a series of fast, smart battles. He became a national hero almost overnight. In 1799, he staged a coup and took control of France, declaring himself first consul. Just 5 years later, he crowned himself emperor. As emperor, Napoleon began the Napoleonic Wars, fighting almost every major European power. He was not just a good fighter, he was a genius at using speed, surprise, and organization to defeat his enemies. His army, known as the Grande Armée, was highly trained and moved quickly. One of his most famous victories was the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805. Facing Russian and Austrian armies, Napoleon used clever planning to defeat both in a single day. He later crushed Prussia at the Battle of Jena-Auerstedt and took control of much of Europe. However, his biggest mistake came in 1812 when he invaded Russia. The Russians retreated, burning their cities and leaving nothing for the French to use. When winter came, the cold and hunger destroyed Napoleon's army. Of the 600,000 men who went in, fewer than 100,000 came back. This loss weakened Napoleon badly. In 1813, he lost again at the Battle of Leipzig. By 1814, European nations united to defeat him and force him into exile on the island of Elba. But Napoleon wasn't finished. In 1815, he escaped from Elba and returned to France. Crowds cheered his return. For 100 days, he ruled again. Then came the Battle of Waterloo. Napoleon faced British and Prussian forces and lost. He was captured and sent to St. Helena, a faraway island in the Atlantic Ocean. He died there in 1821. Napoleon wasn't only a great general. He changed laws, built schools, and improved government systems. His Napoleonic Code still influences many countries today. He also sold the Louisiana Territory to the United States in 1803, doubling its size. Though his dreams of empire ended in defeat, Napoleon remains one of history's most studied and admired leaders. His life shows how far intelligence and ambition can take someone, and how even the greatest can fall. Three men, three legends, each changed the world in their own way. If you enjoyed learning about these amazing generals, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories from history. We will see you in the next video.